Hello everyone, it's Malayla, and I just wanted to do a week 10 debrief. I wanted to start doing debrief videos as a way to explain more of what happens during each week in a less formal way. This is a debrief video for week 10. Week 10 was, I would say, a pretty good one. I went up in weight for a few things, and I try and do like 20 reps, like high volume reps, lower weight, but it's not necessarily lower weight because I do the weight that I can do towards failure. So it's not necessarily lower weight, it's just like a weight that's heavy for me, and for my body. Yeah, I think the thing that I wish I'd focused more on during week 10 is nutrition. My nutrition could have been better. It's not that it wasn't good. Like I stayed on track for most of the week, like I usually do. I do 1,800 calories a day, and I tend not to go over that, like, really ever. But I wasn't really, like, I was just getting to 1,800 calories, which isn't necessarily the thing that I like to do. I like to try and stay under a good amount. And it did cause some weight gain. I tend to weigh myself like a few times a week just to make sure I'm staying on track. And it caused a little bit of weight gain. I was at like 240 last Wednesday, and then when I weighed myself again a few days later, I was at 243. So, and it's because of the things I was eating. I was most likely going over calories. When there's a day that I have a hard time tracking, I don't really track my macros or my calories because some of the things I eat is just really hard to track it. So that's usually the days where, like, we go out to eat or we eat at my mom's house. Sometimes it's really hard to track the things that she makes, or that if we go to a restaurant, it's hard to track the things that we're eating. So sometimes I do go over, and I can tell when I go over. I tend to have a problem with overeating without necessarily trying to, because I get in my head about it. When we had pizza Saturday, November 8th, when we had pizza for my mom's birthday, I said, okay, I'm gonna have 5 slices. And so I originally had 3 slices, and that probably would have been fine. I probably would have been perfectly fine with that. I was full, like I was feeling good. But I got in my head about, like, okay, I wanna have more. So instead of having 2 more slices, like I said I was gonna have 5 slices, I went and grabbed like 4 or 5 more slices, and that added up to like 7 or 8 slices around there. And I just felt like absolute crap after eating that much. And I guess some foods like that tend to be like a trigger for me. Like I can't really control how much I take in because I just want to keep eating it. And it definitely showed the day after, with my weigh-in, and it showed literally later that night. I had such a bad flare-up because I have diverticulosis, and I had such a bad flare-up from eating that like greasy food that my body isn't normally used to. I was in the bathroom, TMI, had really bad diarrhea, almost threw up, like had to lay on the floor because I was about to pass out. That's how bad it was. And I try and remember those moments when I want to eat like a food that isn't necessarily good for me or doesn't necessarily make me feel good. Like in the moment, I love the food, it tastes amazing. But later on, my body is just like, why did you do this to me? So I want to focus more for week 11. I want to focus more on nutrition and just really thinking about foods and how they actually make me feel, not just in the moment, but later on as well, like how they fuel my workouts and just how they even make me feel mentally. Because some foods, like, even though I want to eat them, and I do eat them and they make me feel good in the moment, later on I'm just constantly going through my brain like, I should not have eaten that. Why did I eat that? And I want to try and stop having food noise and food guilt. Like, that is one of the biggest reasons why I'm on a weight loss journey, is because of how much food noise and food guilt I've had in the past. And I let it get to me so bad. So, that's one of my biggest goals, is to focus on nutrition. I lowered my calories from 1,800 to 1,650 because I'm moving a lot less. When I first started this, like this 52-week lock-in, I was getting over 10,000 steps a day, going on morning walks, things like that. So I was moving a lot more. So I had more calories to burn and to spare, as in eating wise. And now I am not moving as much. I'm not getting 10,000 steps every day because it's gotten a lot colder out, which means I can't go for walks outside. And I just haven't really, I've kind of felt a little bit burnt out when it comes to doing a lot of cardio in the gym. It just makes me really not want to go to the gym. Because I do cardio after my workouts anyway. I do 35 minutes. And having to walk more on the treadmill just to hit 10,000 steps is just such a mind block for me. And I don't want that, because I don't want to make myself say hey, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want to have to walk this much, if you know what I mean. I put my calories down to hopefully level out the amount of movement I'm not getting as much. And so far it's working. I've been pretty good with not going over that 1,650. Last night I ended the night with 1,400 or so calories. I definitely try and make sure I go over 1,200, 1,300, because that's not good to not eat over that, because then your body just holds on to the fat and everything, because you're starving yourself at that point. So as long as I go over 1,300 calories and I feel good and I feel fueled, yeah, that's pretty much the week 10 debrief. It was mostly a mental thing last week when it came to my nutrition and eating. So I definitely want to get better at that. I tried to keep this as short as possible, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys for week 11. Love you, and thank you for supporting me.